Welcome to something a bit different. Now these are going to go out while I am on holiday, and I'm going to do a couple of these little videos, but the first one I'm going to do is to do with the PFA Team of the Season. So this is the Players Football Association. This is what the professional players in the Premier League have voted, and obviously managers and bits and bobs. I think who else does it? There's the coaches, and then I think there's the manager, and then I think it's the players, something like that. And they vote for the best team in the league, and this was what it was. There was De Gea in goal, there was Walker at right back, Danny Rose at left back, Cahill and David Luiz centre back, Dele Alli, Kante, Mane, Hazard, Kane and Lukaku. Now obviously that's not a squad, so what I've had to do is just add in a few players. Courtois was already at Chelsea, so I thought I'll leave him there because he did keep, I think, the most amount of clean sheets. So I could have put Lloris there, but there's quite a lot of Tottenham players. I didn't want to just rinse them and make it too easy in this game. I've put Azpilicueta, Koscielny, Coutinho, because they've all been brilliant for their clubs this season. Sanchez as well. And then a few others. We've got Costa, Ibrahimovic, Pedro, Michael Keane, King, Josh King, Sigurdsson, and Moses, because he was already at Chelsea as well. I left Begovic there because I only wanted to have the two keepers, because there's not much point having three, so I've just put him there because he is a second choice keeper, so he can be third choice in this. And then I've got Darren Fletcher just because he was probably West Brom's best player. I got Josh King because he was probably Bournemouth's best player towards the end of the season, and then Sigurdsson was definitely Swansea's best player. Michael Keane, definitely Burnley's best player. And then I've just gone for sort of top six, I guess, for the others. I didn't want to go for anyone sort of mid-table. I just thought I would go for like the best of the best and then a couple of extras just as like squad players, because I don't assume that any of those players are going to leave anyway or play. So we'll see how it goes. What I'm going to do is skip through all of the pre-season up till this day on the 14th, just before the first game of the season against West Ham. And the reason I'm going to do that is just to see if the club have made any transfers. And if they have, it'd be a bit odd, but I'm hoping they don't. So I'm going to sim to that date. Up to the first game of the season, and we've already managed to do something that the club wanted to do in the brand exposure, which was sell 170 million's worth of shirt sales in one season. That's already been achieved in the short term before the season's even started. Now we'll see what happens through the rest of the season with long term, but that's not necessarily what we're looking at on this season. We want to see who does the best out of all these players and who can, if anybody can be top of the league in any stats, and see if the squad itself can be title winners. So the team's first game of the season is against West Ham, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 10 games and come back after every 10 games and see how the squad has done. 10 games into this save, and that will be just after this Man United game, so I'm going to sim to that day. An interesting development just at the end of the transfer window. Arsenal did sign Aubameyang during the summer, and he's already doing quite well for them. Okay, just coming up to the 9th game of the season. That is 10 games we've played because we had the cup competitions as well. And so far, they've lost 1 game, won 6, and drawn 2. 20 points in the table, scored 16 in 9, which isn't too bad. Man City is scoring a lot more. In the Premier League, the squad hasn't been doing that well, and for some reason, Victor Moses has been on fire playing at left midfield, even though Eden Hazard's supposed to be there. As we know that it can change around. Coutinho is the second top goal scorer, and they're not even supposed to be on the pitch. Hazard has the most assists out of any player at this club, and Costa has the next most. The PFA team aren't doing too bad in the EFL Cup either. They beat Blackpool 3-2. And then in the next month they beat Man City 3-2 as well. And next up on the agenda for fixtures is against Burton Albion, so that shouldn't be a difficult game. Okay, what I'm going to do is skip forward to the start, or just before the start of the January transfer window, because that is another sort of 10 games or so in the season. I've added an extra one on just so we can hopefully be up to around 20. If not, I'll skip an extra game just so that we are on 20 games for the season in the Premier League, and we'll see how the team is doing. Okay, 20 games into the Premier League season, and as you can see, Arsenal and Chelsea, or I should say Arsenal and the PFA team of the season, are level on points, level on wins, level on draws, level on losses, almost level on goal difference. Not much between the two teams. And I think that is all because of Aubameyang, because Arsenal did sign him and he is on fire. Another interesting thing is Crystal Palace. Look at them. They are in 3rd, whereas Man United are in 11th. And all we did from Man United is took De Gea and I think Ibrahimovic, and that was it. Spurs, we took 5 of their players, or 4 of their players, and they're still 6th. Welbeck and Aubameyang must be forming some insane partnership in top of Arsenal's team. They got 20 goals between them, 10 each in 20 league games, so 20 goals in 20 games for them too. And it's all changed a little bit for Chelsea. Moses is now on 8 goals and Ibrahimovic has got 7, so he's obviously starting a few more games. Mane has got 6, and they're the only 3 in the top sort of 25 of the Premier League, goal scorers wise. Assists, Janssen is apparently doing well for Tottenham. I guess Harry Kane's not playing anymore because he's on our squad. Hazard and Ibrahimovic are the 2 sort of highest assist makers in our team. And Begovic, for some reason, is still being played a lot, even though he is on the reserves bench. And I've got De Gea and Courtois as the first 2 choices. I don't know why Begovic is still, like, up there. Just going to be simming to the end of the January transfer window. We have the semi-final of the League Cup, or EFL Cup, to play in this month. And we also want to see what the other teams are doing in terms of what players they're signing. And as you can see in this month, it's crazy. We got Tottenham 3 times. We were playing Hull twice. Okay, we have 1 hour left of the January transfer window. And not many teams actually bought anybody. We've got Arsenal didn't sell or buy anybody. Bournemouth bought 2 players. Burnley bought a couple. Everton sold Coleman. And yeah, Liverpool got Tayson on a free. Man City bought 2 players in, obviously Seamus Coleman. And Man United, they got Correa and Cristaldo. And that was, yeah, in terms of the big spending, that was pretty much it. So a bit underwhelming in terms of what teams could have bought. But that's what they've got. That's what they're selling, that's what they're buying. So what I'm going to do, again, is skip forward 10 more games and we'll see what the league looks like then. Alright, it looks like some of the fixtures have been changed around and it means that instead of being 30 games in season, we're now 31. But it doesn't matter too much. As you can see on the table, the PFA the PFA team of the season are 2nd in the league. The goal difference is good, goals scored is good, goals against is good, but they've drawn 1 more game than Arsenal, who are still top of the league. And Crystal Palace are still 3rd. How crazy is that? Imagine they actually did that in the real season, staying 3rd the whole season pretty much so far. Man United have kind of recovered a little bit, but they are still only 9th. And as you can look on the table, they've had 14 draws, which is almost like what they had in real life. Let's have a quick look at the top scorers, and Arsenal now have 3 players in the top 6. Ozil has 10, Aubameyang has 11, and Welbeck has 16 goals. And then you look down the league a little bit, Moses has 9, Ibrahimovic has 9 for the PFA team of the season. And then there isn't really anybody else until you get further down, which even then, there's not even a player that's had 7. Once again, we are going to skip all the way forward to the end of the season, and let's see how the PFA team of the season finishes the league. And it is a surprising result. The PFA team of the season lost the league by 1 result. They had exactly the same goal difference, or goals for, as Arsenal, and goals against was actually better. So if they'd managed to just hang on and not lose 1 extra game, they would have won the league on goal difference. And Palace have slipped down to 5th. Unlucky for them, they could have come 3rd. Unlucky for them though. The top goal scorers, and Ibrahimovic has actually managed to get 12 goals for this team, which is actually less than he got for Man United. And then Moses somehow got 10, and then again, there's not really any players there that you would have in that top bit. Dele Alli in the assists rocketed up. I did check whether he'd had injuries or not, and he did actually have an injury for about 6 weeks. So he's done quite well for missing quite a large chunk of the season. I found where they could have won the league. If you see here, Arsenal won 2-1 in a league game. And if I go right back to the start of the season, they lost 2-1 to Arsenal again. So if they won one of those games against Arsenal, or drawn them both, they probably would have gone on to win the league. But as it is, they did not. So what we learnt from this is that the PFA team of the season would do very well in the league and possibly win it if I'd managed to configure it a different way. If there was a way on FIFA to just select a permanent 11, they'd probably do a lot better, because there were times where I saw on the fixtures that Begovic was the starting keeper, when in reality it should have been De Gea or Courtois. And there's only two ways that I think I should either do this. Another way is either sim each game manually and make sure that the team is the same, or I can reduce the number of players in the squad, but then the players will get tired and things like that. As you can see, there have been some injuries. Hazard's injured. I did see that Ali was injured. Kane had some suspensions. Kante had some suspensions. Lukaku had an injury. I think Cahill had an injury. And yeah, there was a load of players that did get injured during the season. So that affects it as well. I think De Gea was out for like 2 months. And there was one player out for, I think, 4 months. I think that might have been, yeah, Coutinho. He's still out, yeah, at the end of the season. He was out for like 4 months. So, I mean, it's not a perfect system, but it's what we have to deal with. So, that is going to be the end of the episode. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you really loved it, consider to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.